Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 46 of Two Guys and Their Gym. Today, we are streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn. We are live in the comments, so I invite you to interact with us.
I am super looking forward to today's episode. As mentioned last week, we have a special guest, and it's been hard to get this guest on the show. So Alvin and I are actually quite blown away that he accepted the
Yeah.
invitation and he's here. And there's tons of stuff that he's going to share with us. And if I were to give a title to today's show, it would be bringing the fitness industry together. And
Yes.
it's today's guest is no secret, and it's Jonathan Goodman. And you will want to make sure that you stay until the end. And if you're just tuning in, do us a favor. Could you comment below? We'd love to know, number one, where are you streaming in from? And are you ready for our question of the day? Today's question. So comment below, where are you streaming in from? And what goes well, or what's the best combination with anything chocolate for you? For example, some people, chocolate means must be on a chocolate and brownie, for example, right? And we asked this question because there's some interesting combinations out there. I'll go ahead with mine first. I was telling Alvin this now, and he's actually never heard of my combination before. So I'm streaming in from KL, from TTDI, and my favorite chocolate combination is chocolate and chili. Chocolate and chili. Not cut chili you eat together with chocolate, but if you've actually seen some of the chocolates available out there, it's not very common, but you can find it. You know how they have chocolate with almonds, chocolate with mint. It's actually chocolate with chili, and it has a spicy aftertaste. And for some reason, if you've never tried it before, you probably can't imagine. But when you try it, you will be very surprised with the flavor. And all of you don't believe me right now, like you trust and see. Have anyone else tried it before? Comment below, because surely I cannot be the only one. I've actually seen places where they have hot chocolate with chili. I think they put chili flakes or something like that, or they infuse it with
On the
chili
hot chocolate drink, is it?
on the so the hot chocolate drink. So it's hot, it's
Oh.
warm, and there's that chili. So like it's a double kick. I've had that before as well, and it's that's my favorite chocolate combination. Okay, so I'm sure someone later is going to say that they've had it too, but Alvin has never heard of it, and that's okay. You need to go out and have more chocolate. He's been eating too much of the healthy stuff. Chocolate's healthy, by the way. And
Good.
Alvin, so what about you? You want to tell everybody where you're streaming in from and what's
Yes.
your favorite chocolate combination?
So I'm streaming in from Kajang, and my favorite combination chocolate is coffee. So you have chocolate, it's like dark chocolate, particularly, like a little bit more bitter, and then the coffee. So I have it quite often for a period of time, like a pre-workout. So I drink my coffee before workout, and they say like dark chocolates also can help. And sometimes I'll eat and then drink, or sometimes I just melt the dark chocolate into the coffee, and I just watch it like melt into it. Yeah. So that's
That's
my
a lot of
favorite.
work. That's a lot of work. Wow. Why
I
don't you just use like cocoa powder and stir it into your coffee? Oh, I guess it's not the same. It's not the same.
because I a lot of people give me dark chocolate.
Right. So okay, got it. That
A
makes
lot of dark
complete
chocolate.
sense. So it's all this dark chocolate and wondering what to do with it. Well, now
Yeah.
maybe you can melt it with some chili padi and see what happens. Right. So everybody loves chocolate. I believe so. I think most people out there love chocolate. And so if that's you, comment below where are you streaming in from and what's your favorite chocolate combination that you have. We'd love to know because um, I believe everybody has an interesting chocolate combination.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. Alvin, do we have some questions that came in early throughout this week? I believe we have.
Yes, we do. Our next segment is Ask Us Anything. So we have two questions, and I'm going to read them out. How would
Mhm.
you define business success or success in general? So, how do you see success, Noel? Maybe I'll pass to you first, Noel, and I'll add on to it. How do
Ah,
you see success?
I think the answer will vary for every person you ask. I think the answer can vary. So If you're watching this, you do not have to agree with me, but I think first thing, if for us, like for me, I'm running a business. I think the first thing is that in order to consider it a success, the business has to be making some money. That means there has to be a profit, right? If for the past 10 years I've been running Daily Muscle, and like if you haven't been making a profit, that's not called a business. The purpose of a business is to make some money.
You won't
Otherwise,
be
if you're not
well.
correct, if you're not making money, that's called running a charity. Charities make money to fund themselves. So purpose of business number one is to make money. But I think people often are wondering, like, success. The more money you make, does that mean you're more successful? And that's where I feel like I want to say that I think you can be making a lot of money and still not be successful because you may be very unhappy because you are doing something that you absolutely hate doing. And the only reason you're working there is because I need the money, it's a good paying job, and you're doing it. So that to me is, it's nice that you have a lot of money and you have a nice dream house and you have a car and your car of your dreams and all that, but you're not happy and you're dreading going to work and you are not liking every single day. That is not being successful. And
Right.
I think a lot of people are in that situation. It's just that we don't see it, right? So for me, like if like I'm not making a lot of money, but if I'm passionate about what I'm doing, I'm excited year after year to introduce new things. I'm happy to go to the gym, to talk to my clients. It's nice, it's rewarding. It's like I actually get something out of it. I think that is, to me, that is success, because I'm, number one is not making a loss, we're making a profit. Number two is I enjoy what I'm doing, and I can come home and be happy and not be like, oh, I'm stuck in a dead job and I'm looking for an escape. So it's not about money, but of course the money is important because it's, otherwise you're not being a success. Your business is not being a success. I think happiness is very, very important. You got to be content
Right.
with what you're doing, and that is real success to me. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Oh, I love that, Noel. I like when you use the word content. I think that's very important. You can have all the money in the world, everything, but if you are not content with what you have or what you do, you never
Yeah,
find success.
yeah,
So my way of defining it is very similar to Noel. First, because the question asks success in business, right? Your business have to make money so you can keep you going. And I would just like to add on that your business need to have some sort of your message or your mission or your vision. So you know that you are part of your business, and what's your principle, your mission, message, and vision in life, your business should somewhat reflects it. So when I have my business, like my training studios, my business Achieve Fitness, it kind of symbolizes me. So whenever I run my business, I'm kind of like living my mission, message, and vision through my business. So that allows me to like embody the whole entity, the business, which I feel is very, very important. And since we're on the topic of business, when I think of like big fitness company, the commercial gyms, I don't see a strong message being represented by them, and that's why I see them as just a company. So when I started my fitness business, I would say no. When people think of Achieve Fitness, or when they think of the things that I do, they think of Alvin, and Alvin is actually living it, and people would understand the whole message. And if I can inspire and change, motivate people through my message, through my business, then I think I've done a successful job. So that's how I see success in business. That's how I see success in my life, to inspire people with my message, mission, and vision.
I love that. I love how you say that it's an extension of who you are, what you embody. And it's true. Like if I think of Achieve Fitness now, like you asked me Achieve Fitness 2 years ago, I'm not going to think of Alvin. But now if you say Achieve Fitness, I actually think of an individual, and it's you. And truth be told, now when I look at the color orange, so that striking orange, like this is Achieve Fitness. I've actually started to associate that orange color with you. So that's interesting. But yeah, love
Love
that.
it.
Just a
Yes.
heads up, everybody. Today's episode is actually a pre-recorded session. And the reason why it's pre-recorded is because for our guests working with different time zones, we needed to have this session at a different time. So it's pre-recorded, but we are actually live in the comments and we are able to interact with you. So keep the questions coming. Keep the question of the day, which is where you're streaming in from and what's your favorite chocolate combination. Keep it coming because we are reading every comment and we're going to reply to every comment. All right, so keep that going. And
Yes.
moving on next, we want to add something, Alvin?
Yes. Before I go into next questions, I invite all of you who are watching in on Facebook, LinkedIn to please share this live so that you can reach out to more people. We are here with you. Sharing this live is going to help us grow together. And question number 2, I'm going to pin it up. What are some daily practice that helps you achieve your goal? I'm going to rephrase this question. It's like, Noel, what are you and I doing daily that works for us, right? What are some of our daily practice that helps us to move forward, achieve our goal? Maybe Noel, I'll share this first and I'll pass half to you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share what am I doing in my daily life is the first thing in the morning, I need to have like a little self routine. So I wake up, I meditate, or I do some sort of movements like stretching, while listening. This is a must to YouTube videos. So the YouTube videos that I listen to like kind of like motivation. You hear people speaking. So I like to listen to the words, positive reinforcements, words, at least 5 to 10 minutes first thing in the morning. So I could be lying down in the bed. I could be going for my walk. I could be stretching. I could be just sitting there. I need words. And I feel that when I can listen to words, it kind of set my mind up for the day. And that is the most important thing. I've been doing that almost every day. I'll wake up early just to listen to YouTube. And the best YouTube channel I listen is Mulligan Brothers.
Yeah, you've
They got
mentioned this
lots of
before.
videos.
It is.
I
That's
love
right.
Mulligan
Yeah.
Brothers. And one thing about Mulligan Brothers is I don't know why I like that. Maybe the videos, the word matches the soundtrack. I can listen to it over and over. Okay. I like one video so much I can listen to it for every day for an entire month, and it just sticks in there. So that is my favorite daily practice that I feel set me up for success for the day.
Love it. And you do this on an almost daily basis, right? That's your routine.
Almost daily basis.
That's
Yes.
your morning routine.
That's my morning. How about yours, Noel?
Yeah, I think over the years, I think my routine has evolved multiple times. But it's really about that. Like, I mean, like finding what works for you. Right, Kiwi? Going behind the green screen. She loves to hide behind the green screen. It's her favorite place to be because I can't see what she's up to. My routine is I've tried so many things, and then you find something that works for you, and then suddenly you keep learning new things. So if you're watching this and you're thinking like, oh, Alvin's routine is the one, well, it's the one for him, and he discovered it by trying many new things. So I'm like, for me, my routine right now is making sure I go to bed on time, early, so that I can wake up early, even though if it's a public holiday or if it's a work day, or if like I don't have to wake up early, or the weekend, let's say on Sunday, I won't sleep in. I want to wake up consistently at the same time. I find that this balances out the energy that you have throughout the day when you have that consistent. The other thing I've been doing now is for more than a week now is the daily cold showers. It's continuing to change my life. Stand under a cold shower, 3 minutes, and you do it when it's most uncomfortable for you. And then it's not right after a run, not right after a workout. So when you wake up, you brush your teeth, stand under the cold water, uncomfortable, and you start your day by doing something hard, so that the rest of your day, you did the hard thing already. You're almost like
Feels
mentally
easy.
prepared that whatever comes to you after that, it's like, hey, I stood in the shower for 3 minutes in the cold water. Like, you fellas all didn't do that. So it's that feeling that I have. And also possibly trying to train early in the morning. I find that it really sets my day up for success. And the earlier in the morning when I train, the better it is, because I have less things on my mind. Emails haven't started coming in yet. The text messages haven't started coming in yet. So for me, it's the three things, which is sleep and waking up consistently. It's the cold showers, 3 minutes only, and working out and training. And that's my routine. And when I do that, I find that the rest of my day just works. Like I've had my wins. And it may change. Ask the question in 2 weeks again, and maybe now Noel added this new thing. It just keeps changing. So find what works for you. It doesn't have to be anything that we said. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And thank you all of you for sending your questions early, because we get to feature your questions.
Yes.
Keep them coming. You don't have to wait for a show. You can comment a question now as well. And we will find a time to answer them, and not skip any of those questions. Okay, moving on.
And our next segment is special guests. Before I pass to Noel to introduce our guest, I invite you to comment any questions you have. And remember to share this live so that you can reach out to more people. All the link mentioned in this live will be in the caption later on.
Yes, so our special guest, which I mentioned this now, it wasn't easy to get in here, but we are grateful. And I'm certain that if you've been online, if you are a personal trainer or fitness professionals, Google anything to do with your career or personal training, you would have heard of Jonathan Goodman. I'm going to read his official bio that was given to me, and I'll share a little bit more also about some relevant stuff. Is Jonathan Goodman is actually his tagline is bringing the fitness industry together, and he's published 11 books. Like 11 books, that's a lot. Since 2011, he has his website, the PTDC, which is the Personal Trainer Development Center, has had over 20 million visitors in total to their website. It's amazing. And he sold over 250,000 educational items to health and fitness enthusiasts. He's from Toronto, Canada. I believe right now he's staying somewhere else. He's moving around. It's cool to see, because he's in a point of his career now where he's actually almost literally traveling the world, being with his family. He's enjoyed over 1,300 days just exploring the world with his young family, his wife and kid, while still doing everything he loves. And like just now we were talking about success. This to me is called success, doing the things that you
Yes.
love. And you can follow Jonathan Goodman on his Instagram. We'll put the link later on as well. It's at It's Coach Goodman. And also, before we play the segment, is that on one of the shows before this, we had talked about online training. In fact, if you've ever wanted to know anything about online training, this guy has been in the space for more than 10 years. And I have his book here, which is a program that I did in 2017. And it's called The Fundamentals of Online Training. So this guy wrote a course, a 2-part course, it's actually an advanced level as well, on how to succeed as an online trainer. And this is when online training was not big. People were doing things on Excel spreadsheets and stuff. So it's been around. He shares some very, very important, shocking information in today's segment. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that we talk a little bit about influencers and how we professionals can stand out and get our message across. We also talk a little bit about what's not working in the fitness industry right now. And some of the things he said was kind of shocking. And you have to stay until the end, because he gives away free access to his software at no cost. And his software is going to help trainers do their online training. Like literally, it's for free. We didn't believe it. I had to ask him on the show, like, is this really for free? And it is. So he's going to teach you how to get that. And without any further delay, we're just going to put up the clip. Keep your questions coming. Any comments? We are watching this with you. Feel free to interact with Alvin and I. And we'll catch you at the end of the chat. Awesome. Hey, first up, Jonathan, thank you for doing this. Thank you for accepting the booking and getting this going.
You really knows about trainers. Like we've been following you on Instagram. We see all your posts about fitness professional, personal trainers, all your years of writing, and your message has always been personal trainer, right? What really got you into this, to the message of reaching out? Hey, I want to speak to fitness professionals.
I kind of fell into it, funny enough. I became a personal trainer when I was 18 years old. 1 week after my 18th birthday, I was a personal trainer. And so when I was 17 at the university that I went to in Canada, I got a personal training session at the university from a personal trainer at the gym. And I remember coming home from that and kind of thinking like, well, damn, I could do that. That looks like fun. So I started researching how to become a personal trainer in Canada, right? And I realized that you had to be 18 years old to be a personal trainer. And I was 17 when I went to university. So I waited until my 18th birthday and became a trainer. And I was a trainer all throughout university from second to fourth year at the university gym. And then I started training full-time afterwards. And I loved it. I loved working with clients. I loved working in the fitness industry. I loved what the gym meant. I loved the feeling in the gym. I loved how everybody was equal in the gym, how everybody was there to get better for themselves, not to compete with anybody else. I mean, it was just everybody is there to get better for themselves for their own reasons. Everybody's equal. Doesn't matter whether you're the CEO of some big company or a college kid. When you're wearing some crappy shorts and an old t-shirt, sweating, struggling in the gym, you're equal. And I've always kind of thought that that's just a beautiful thing, especially now where there's so much conflict, political conflict, religious conflict, conflict over vaccines, no vaccines, all of this stuff that is just tearing us apart. To me, the gym is the one thing that can just bring us together. Because you don't go into the gym and you ask people what religion they are. You say, can I work in for a set? And to me, that's just a really beautiful thing. And I've always loved that. I've always been drawn to that.
That's so good. You leave everything at the door and you come in and everybody's equal. I love that. What I've been following your posts lately also, Jonathan, on Instagram. I guess I should wish you welcome back to Instagram.
I know, right?
You're like
I'm actually doing social media. Isn't it funny?
You're full on every day, and you post a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff are like, I wouldn't say it's controversial, but you kind of highlight the things that are happening out there, the things that sometimes people don't talk about, and you're talking about it. So what do you think is the fitness industry isn't perfect? So what do you think is broken? If something is broken, what do you think is broken about the industry right now?
I don't think anything's broken with the industry. I think there's a lot broken with human psychology that some portions of the industry, I call it the greedy big fitness institution, that they take advantage of. It's like anything with big business. When you have big business, particularly business that is owned by a group of investors, and most big companies in the fitness industry, those that serve trainers, education companies, software companies, and those that serve consumers as well, are owned by either public companies, or they're owned by private equity or venture capital firms. Basically, they're owned by investment, which means that they have a fiduciary responsibility to appease their investors first. So their primary responsibility is to make as much money right now for their investors. And the problem with this is that when that happens, the company then doesn't necessarily do what it actually needs to do the most good, or even to be around for as long as possible. It does what it needs to do in order to make the most money today. And unfortunately, human psychology is just really flawed. I'm the same way. I do what's easier. I look for things that seem like some sort of innovation. It's different. It's new. I know that the way to, like you guys have done one podcast episode every Monday, posted at 9 p.m. Malaysian time, every single week on the Reap, right? Day by day, week by week, step by step, rep by rep in the gym. How do we get stronger? How do we get better? We do the small things very well over time, consistently, reliably, progressively. That's just how people get better, right? But what do people spend money on? Because you can't really sell that because there's nothing to sell. Go for a walk. That's how you're going to get healthy. You can't really sell that. So what do you sell? So you sell bullshit fitness equipment. You sell detoxes that don't work. You sell, potions, pills, powders, supplements, anything, right, that seems like it's going to have some sort of magical, like way to get better, because that's what makes the company the most amount of money. So it's a fundamental flaw in human psychology that is largely being exploited by companies that oftentimes started good, and then became skewed over time as more and more investment came in, and they had to appease investors. And so it's a big problem. I mean, you think about on the flip side, like one of the biggest companies in the world is Amazon. And Amazon, throughout the years, if you followed their history, is actually a really interesting study, because their stock price basically never reflected the value of their company and what they were doing.
Right.
And they always played the long game. 10 years later, 20 years later, look where they are now.
Yeah.
But look at the articles that came out over the years about them, damning them. Evil company, irresponsible fiscal company, right? And it's because the entire time, whether you like what they did or not, they were playing the long game, and they were doing the small things very well, day after day after day. And they weren't going for the quick wins, trying to make as much money as they could for their investors.
Mm.
And so I think it's a very interesting parallel.
Okay.
Love it. Well, that's why we have Noel, myself, and of course you here, John. We are here, the underdogs, to make a difference. We are the voice. And I feel that when we come together, when we connect, people do hear to our voice. And I love that, John. Thank you for sharing that. Now, John, speaking of gyms, when you talk about these big gyms, right? Now, Noel and I, we both open our own gyms. What would you say to a coach or trainer who is thinking of opening their gym or a studio right now, post-pandemic?
Sure. I would say go work for somebody else first and ask questions about what it's like to run a gym. Get a lot of experience working with clients, and don't go into a lot of debt without clients when you open up a gym. And the reason for that is simple. When you open up a gym for the first time, it's often going to be a period of time where there's going to be a little bit of struggle, where you're going to figure it out, where you maybe don't have as much money coming in, where you're building. And it's important to give yourself a lot of space at the beginning to be able to build the right way, to be able to build a really strong foundation under you. A problem that I see a lot of young trainers get into is the dream of owning a gym kind of sucks them in. And so what happens is they go when they open up a gym kind of before they're ready, or before they have a lot of money, or they take debt. And as a result, then they have to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do in order to pay back the debt, in order to keep their doors open, in order to keep their lights on and pay their bills. And I just think it's really important to give yourself as long of a runway as possible to be able to serve your clients exceptionally well from day one, because that's your foundation. That's what you're going to build off of. And everything that you have as a gym owner is going to be top down. Like you lead as the business owner.
Right.
And so it's important to give yourself that space.
Yeah, that's good. So it's not just passion. Passion alone isn't going to be enough to...
I mean, passion's good. Passion's important. But like, there's a lot of passionate people who make for really shitty business people, right? like passion's important, but there's a lot of broke, passionate people. So, I agree with following your passion, but you got to be smart too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Great. And speaking of passion and in the social media scene with fitness influencers, everywhere you look, they're out there. And of course, there's always the thought that there are the shady influencers who will do anything to just sell stuff, just to make a quick buck. And then there are the underdogs, the people who really want to serve their clients and just can't compete with the people who have millions of followers. How do the underdogs stand out or set ourselves apart when trying to cut through the noise out there on social media?
I think it's to figure out what makes them different. There's lots of phenomenal examples of underdogs who are not posting overly sexualized photos of themselves, male and female, on the internet in order to attract eyeballs. And also it's an understanding of an audience of hundreds of thousands, let's say on Instagram, is worth less than an audience of potentially tens of thousands, depending on the value of the community that you're building. And so an audience of people that just like looking at pictures of your ass is really not particularly valuable.
True.
Because all that you can sell then is low-priced items based off of fear and emotion. Basically, if you can make somebody feel bad about themselves, they might buy this supplement one time. That's fine, right? That person can probably make some money, but it's not particularly valuable versus buying a really high or building a really high quality community of like-minded people who all think the same way, who all have the same type of problems. You think about what I'm doing with my social media. I mean, the numbers aren't massive. There's 30,000, 31,000 or something on my Instagram, and it's growing, but I could grow it a lot faster. Now, I mean, if I got naked, it would probably grow it slower, but like I could grow it faster, right? But it's growing in a very controlled and a very strategic way because I'm building my community with the types of people that I want in my community. Because I look at that and say, well, this is a lot more valuable. I know exactly the type of people in the community. I know the types of messages they resonate with. I know the types of messages that piss them off. I know the types of things that piss them off. I also know what problems they have, which means that I know what solutions to build. And I know how to communicate those solutions. As a result, my audience for me is worth way more than a kind of randomized audience based off of generalized fitness advice that I might have been able to build. And so I think it's just important to say, to look at this and say, well, actually, there's a lot of possibility for underdogs, to use your term there, to build really, really valuable communities. As long as they're true to themselves, as long as they don't get sucked into a lot of the noise and the nonsense that's out there, trying to optimize numbers, because numbers don't tell the whole story. I mean, and a lot of numbers are fake. But even the ones that aren't, they don't tell the whole story. So why? What's the point? What are you doing?
Yeah, I guess the most important thing is being authentic. Like, one thing Noel and I talk about often is knowing our message, our mission, our vision. What are we doing here for the people? So, kind of like creating a niche for ourselves as a fitness professional in Malaysia, So I feel that, just now when you say about the numbers and value, it's better to sell to 10 people who actually watch your videos and all 10 of them buy than to, 1,000 views and none of them buy.
Yeah, so and I mean, really know what game you're playing too, like know what stage that you're at. It's so interesting to me, these like local trainers who own a local gym. I mean, you guys are good examples. You own local gyms serving clients locally in Malaysia. And are you in Kuala Lumpur?
Yes, pretty much.
In Kuala Lumpur. And so I was in your airport once. And so and it's so interesting to me. It's like there's this big desire, it seems like these days, to build this big international audience of people. It's like there's a lot of people in Kuala Lumpur, man. Like, why? So my question is why? Again, I used this example on a podcast maybe 2 weeks ago with it was a gym owner mentorship. So it was a business development program for gym owners that had me on. And they were talking about how they teach their gym owners to go do lunch and learns, to go to local businesses and whatever. And I said, yeah, no, that's fine. But here's what I would do if I owned a local gym. I would probably not do any social media. Well, I wouldn't put much stead in it. I mean, maybe like a local Instagram account or something, but I wouldn't really care what the numbers were. He was in Sacramento, California. So I'll use Sacramento as the example. Okay. I would start a podcast that's called The Best of Sacramento. And I would interview the local business owners who run the big companies in Sacramento. I would interview the CEOs. Because it's actually really, really difficult to get the HR department of a big company to let you come in and do a lunch and learn or a fitness class for its employees.
Yeah.
But when you understand that the majority of people in the world are motivated by sex and status, you can kind of play on that. Even CEOs at large companies that you could never get on the phone with them. I mean, these are people who would never answer your call. But if you were to call them up and say, I run a podcast, it's called The Best of Sacramento, where I feature the trailblazers in our community, leading the businesses into the future. And I would love to interview you for the Best of Sacramento podcast. You just happen to be a gym owner, by the way, who works at a gym in Sacramento. But the reality of it is, the CEO of the biggest companies would get on your podcast, which means that now you would have a one-on-one, 1 hour conversation with that person. How many people have you had a 1 hour conversation with, eye to eye, in the last month? For that CEO, you might be the only person that has a conversation that deep that month. Now you have a really strong connection with that CEO. That CEO knows that you own the gym. Maybe they're going to hire you. Maybe their wife is going to hire you. Right? All of a sudden now you've built a network, a high quality network where you're connecting all of the business leaders in your community. So again, I take you back to the question of like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to post content to attract an international audience? Who gives a shit? I mean, I'm doing it because I'm trying to build an international brand. But I can tell you right now, I've been in the online fitness industry for 10 years. I've published over 1 million words. And what I'm doing right now, I expect to take 3 to 4 years to be able to play out. It just doesn't happen fast. Whereas if you're trying to build a business locally, like, why? Man, take the easy route. Make other people feel like they're important by being a part of your thing. The best of Kuala Lumpur. Like, call up the CEO of the biggest companies. Who cares? Because the point of a podcast for most people is not to build an audience. Podcasts are a really terrible way to build an audience. Podcasts are a brilliant way to network. Podcasts are a brilliant way to get mentored. By the way, you want to get advice from the leading business minds in your city? Well, you can't. No, you can't pay them any amount of money. But what you could do is you could have a podcast and interview them, and now you just got an hour free mentorship. Why are we talking? I'm some guy from Canada who owns a business, right? Because you guys have a podcast, you can ask me whatever questions you want for 30 minutes, and I'm going to answer it. Holy crap,
well,
that's
we're going to
valuable.
change the questions.
That's true. That's brilliant, Jonathan. That's brilliant.
crap.
Thank you. That is a golden nugget that we're gonna keep, and we're gonna steal that idea and definitely implement that in some ways. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Like, it's just like, I started the Personal Trainer Development Center, my website for trainers, when I was 24 years old in a small, tiny boutique gym in Toronto, Canada. I didn't know anybody, but I started a website that had a name that sounded important. And so when I featured people on it, they shared it because the name sounded important, and they sounded important because they were associated with it. That's how my business grew.
Love it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, John, just now you mentioned about mentors, right? Coming back to the topic of mentors, I mean, coming back to fitness professional, why do fitness professional or coaches need mentors? And perhaps, do you have a mentor? Who are some of your mentors?
Well, I have a mentor. I've had lots of mentors throughout the years, for sure. I haven't had any like official mentors. I've never actually paid for like a business mentor. I have now an executive coach that I talk on the phone with once every 3 weeks, but really he's kind of like a psychiatrist. He's kind of somebody that he just asks me how I'm doing, and he gives me an opportunity to talk. And he's, somebody who's run a lot of businesses and is retired, and just helps me through. I had to lay off a bunch of people, for example, last month. Help me through that, right? But mentorship is something that I've kind of come to accept shows up in places that you don't otherwise identify. I think as a personal trainer, particularly as a young personal trainer, it's understated how important mentorship from your clients is. I mean, in what other profession in the world can a 22-year-old idiot, because all 22-year-olds are idiots, myself included, can a 22-year-old idiot who knows nothing about the world have the associate dean of medicine at the University of Toronto, the chief of psychiatry at the biggest hospital in Toronto, some of the biggest business leaders in the city, pay him to spend 2 to 3 hours a week? That was my life when I was 22, 23, 24 years old. And so they were my mentors, right? They believed in me. I was helping them, with fitness, with that, but they believed in me. And so how did I get started on this path that I'm on now was one of my clients, this Tom, it was his name. He was the chief of psychiatry at Sunnybrook Hospital, which is one of the biggest hospitals in Toronto. And he walked into the gym one day, and he was late because he was always late. And he walked into the gym one day, and I said, "Idiot, go get changed. You're late." And he walked right up to me, and I said, "What are you doing? Go get changed. You're late." And he took a book out of his bag, and he handed it to me. And he said, "You're not going to be my personal trainer for much longer." And he handed me a book. And the book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he said, "I don't know what it is about you, but I can tell that you're going to do something pretty special. And I wish that somebody had given me this book when I was your age." And he's right. I wasn't his personal trainer for much longer. That's mentorship, right? That's special.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff has showed up a lot throughout my career. And I think it's important when you have a mentor to appreciate that mentor as well, and to understand what the relationship is, no matter where you are. A mentor that's become a good friend and a good family friend is Dr. John Barodi. He used to own Precision Nutrition. And we've since become very good friends, and our families spend a lot of times together. But I mean, by all accounts, I was doing well with my business, but it didn't matter. He was a mentor to me. I would call him up and say, "Hey, I've got something, I'd love to talk to you about. When are you free? I'd love to drive to you." And whatever he said, I would cancel my entire day and I would drive 2 hours to him. And, it doesn't matter, other people would have probably done that for me at the time. And I think it's just important to recognize, where and appreciate.
Yeah. So you never know when a mentor is going to show up. It doesn't always have to be a paid relationship. People come in your life and they teach you something when you least expect
Most
it.
mentors are not. A mentor is somebody who believes in you deeply, and somebody who goes out of the way because they believe in you. And maybe they see a little bit of themselves in you, or maybe they see something in you that they wish that they could put out in the world, but it's just not for them at this point. And it's something that they want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Like if somebody comes to me and they're doing something that I'm just like, that is just something that I feel like needs to exist. I don't give a shit. You're not going to pay me money. Like, I don't care. I just want to see that exist. And if I can help make that a reality, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. But you've got to show that you're the type of person who can do stuff. And what you guys are doing, having a podcast, is a great example. People who have a podcast, to me, is a great indicator of somebody who's willing to put in the work. Somebody who's been consistent with podcasts. I don't care if you have an audience or not. I never checked. I have no idea whether you guys have one listener or 50,000. It's completely irrelevant to me. Well, but it's the point is, it's completely irrelevant to me, right? Because the fact that you guys are coming together as competing businesses locally, but you're working together and you have a podcast that you're doing consistently every single week shows me that you guys are something special. That's what people look for, because we know all of the, I mean, I've been in this game for 10 years. I know all of the nonsense. I know all the ways that people cheat. I can look past that.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that wisdom, Jonathan. Just one last question, and then before we wrap up, tell us about QuickCoach. because I see it exploding everywhere. I've signed up
Yep.
and gotten my name registered so that I get to use that when it's ready. But it's exciting. And is it really going to be free? Want to give us a little bit of
Yes,
background
it will
info?
be.
What is it, and is it going to be free?
It will be 100% free. QuickCoach is software that we've built that is about a week away actually from being fully finished coding, and then we have to put it into design. But it is software that we built. So over the years, I've either advised or been an advisor for almost every major software company out there. I've actually been in deep negotiations to buy 2 of them. So I know this world inside and out. And the reason why those deals didn't work to buy those 2 pieces of software is because there's a horn going off. That's good.
That's
Is
right.
because I basically looked at them and I said, what really needs to happen is all of these things need to be simplified. Right? There's just too many features. It's too expensive. It's unnecessarily complex. Trainers need to be able to send a spreadsheet to a client. That's basically it. The spreadsheet needs to look pretty and needs to be user-friendly on the internet. But like trainers need to send a spreadsheet to a client. And also, when you look at data entry as a trainer, it's actually a really complicated data entry task. But at the same time, there's no way that you can improve on a spreadsheet for entering data for a workout. The problem is if you enter in the data onto a spreadsheet, you can't really use the spreadsheet as a trainer. So what we did is we basically said there's no way to improve on it. So we have a spreadsheet that you enter the data into. It then pulls that data out into an array and translates it into really user-friendly, client-friendly stuff. And so anyway, we built an absurdly simple software platform. It is 100% free for trainers. We will make a little bit of money if people decide to use us for payment processing, but you can choose to or not. And you can use the invoicing capabilities without the payment processing, no problem.
Nice.
And it's a gift to the industry, and also it's a user acquisition play. To me, it's a marketing expense, right? Well, why would I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, sending Facebook ads to an ebook when I can spend that same amount of money to build a software tool that people are going to be happy getting, log in every single day. And then if they decide that our education is right for them, well, they're going to see our name every single day.
Yeah.
Best marketing you could ever do.
So good. Love that.
Love it. So
Awesome.
I'm going to
Alvin.
sign up for that.
Do it. Yeah.
So what
QuickCoach. It's the QuickCoach.fit is the domain. You could put yourself on the wait list. But I do have to go, guys, because I do have another call.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
That's
this,
right.
and I apologize, but I do have to go.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Jonathan. All the best to you. You take care.
Hey, thanks for staying up late for me,
Bye.
guys. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Anytime. Bye.
There you have it. We hope you enjoy our little segment of special guest with Jonathan Goodman. My invitation to you is if you're watching this, you can always scroll back to the part of the interview, or right now, snap a picture, post it on IG story, and please tag Jonathan Goodman. The reason being is to let him know that Malaysia is following him. We are watching him. Remember to follow him on Instagram. There's so much more information there. So if you're a fitness professional watching this, you have a lot of questions, Noel and I invite you to reach out to Jonathan Goodman himself. He is always humble to reply message. In fact, he said yes to being on our show, and we are really, really honored to have him. So if you have any questions, I invite you to DM us throughout the week. We are here, always ready to help you. All the links and resources will be posted on the Facebook version of this live. So do check that out later. And Noel and I, thank you for your time. Thank you for spending Monday night with us. Thank you for tuning in to our show. Thank you for sharing and posting on Instagram. We love you, and we'll see you next Monday.
Next week. Yeah. Oh, wait. Happy holidays, everybody. It's the Christmas weekend. Alvin, what are your plans for Christmas? Quick one before we go.
I'll say go church and a family lunch.
Yeah, same
Yourself?
here. Church in the morning, and then it's most likely going to be a family lunch. But it's like how time flies, right? Yeah. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy year end. Happy holidays. Stay in touch. Be good. Otherwise, there's no Santa. Right. If I see you posting a Christmas tree or what, I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas. So continue to interact with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.